Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Table Talk. Today I have Kendra Feather, who is here to talk about Thanksgiving in the Valley.
Yes, something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, so I guess just to start off, tell me a little bit about what Thanksgiving in the Valley is and how it works for people who might not know what that is.
Well, it'll be our 38th year of hosting Thanksgiving in the Valley. So originally, Kevin Mooney, who used to be our news director, was one of the initial people that got it going. It used to be called Thanksgiving on the Mayflower, and they had it in the Mayflower building, having the Mayflower thing about the ship coming over. And 20 years ago, this will be my 20th year, I asked him if he needed some help, and I've kind of got it in my lap a little bit ever since, especially since he retired. But he suits back up, and we're looking forward to hosting it again. We kind of, again, changing it like we did last year, having the meals to go, either delivered or picked up there.
Okay, that was one of my questions, is what is it going to look like? Is it going to look similar to last year, or will it be different?
We'll probably cap it off at 600 meals that will be delivered,
Okay.
and we deliver all the way from Bridgeport to like Henry area.
Okay.
And so those volunteers from the Scottsbluff Volunteer Center, and I'm the president of that board, so I have them suit up too, that they can call, and if they want a meal or they want to be a driver, you need to call the Volunteer Center. So that number would be 632-3736 and talk to Shanna Halstead.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. And what is the meal going to look like this year?
So I don't have a cook this year, so I was kind of panicking because my cook for several years, Randy Thruston, moved closer to family, which I'm so glad he got to move closer to his daughters and grandbabies. So I've had some people that have businesses that are helping out. So the Kellers over at the meat shop are cooking the turkeys and slicing them and have them ready for me that morning. We do turkey roast, so it's much easier to do. And then Larry Massey, who's always generous in the community too, is cooking the potatoes and gravy. And then the Northfield Retirement Villages, or the residency, will be cooking they've helped us with pies for years. But they're going to do the pies, and then they do cookies for the volunteers, but they're going to make the dressing for me. So the meal will all come together at the center because the kitchen's not big enough there to cook it all.
Right.
Or we would try to do it there, but we just don't have enough room, or you can't cook that much turkey. I mean, it's a lot of turkey. And the past years, we've cooked like 24 turkeys.
Oh my God.
And that's a lot of turkey to try to clean and cut. But with these turkey roasts, they're so much easier because you can just slice them and go on and not have to mess with the bones and things like that. And the taste is really good. So
awesome.
I just feel like there's less waste, and I hated not to have a cook, but we just want to go forward with the meal. And if there's somebody out there who would like to be a cook, or I'd love to have somebody want to come and train with me, then maybe take over eventually. That would be a good thing too. It's a great thing, but 20 years is a long time to be doing it. And I'm getting older, so I need somebody younger to step in and learn what I do at it, and I would love them to help.
For sure. Why is this meal so important? Why is this such a staple event in this community?
It's been, like I said, when it was started, it's moved a couple times locations, but kind of having it at the Guadalupe, there's a lot of walk traffic there, and there just seems to be a need for food at that time of the year. I'm involved with the Meals on Wheels program, being on the Volunteer Center board. So it's those people, that get the Meals on Wheels. But several of those people, they don't have family here, and they may not have a meal that day. So we just want to have meal for them because there's not Meals on Wheels that Thursday or Friday either. So we suggest sometimes they order an extra meal to have one for Friday also. And who doesn't like to have a turkey sandwich the next day? And the food is really, it's been really good for a lot of years. So, and it's nice to have a nice warm meal. There was a couple that was probably in their 90s one time and ordered a meal. And we don't make people pay for it, but they wanted to make a donation. They had their table and chairs set up with candles, and that was their meal that day. They didn't have any family. So part of my passion about this is not to be alone for Thanksgiving, because it's hard when you're alone, and it's a special time of the year. And COVID has made it really tough. I've seen that, the things I do with volunteering and different things. So I'm happy that we can at least bring a meal to the door and drop it off, and so they can have the meal.
For sure. And so, you talked about that you're capping it off at 600 meals to deliver. Can people pick up? Is there a limited number for that?
We'll probably have around 400 that can be picked up at the Guadalupe Center. It'll be a little bit later time, probably like 11:30. They can start picking them up at the front door.
Okay.
That worked out really good. Last year, people were very friendly and very, cooperative, and just coming to the front door, and we just handed them out the door, and they were on their way.
For sure.
So that worked out really well. I was really nervous about last year, but it went so smooth. And I did it with less volunteers, but I still need volunteers. So if they want to volunteer, I'd like that they call me at 633-9497. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to ask about volunteers. Where are you sitting at with them? What help are you looking for, that kind of thing?
I probably can use about 50 people for help. So part of that would be cutting the pies up and packaging them. We'll pack that cold stuff like probably the day before in a sack to go along with the hot meal. The hot meal, of course, will have to be packed that day and trying to get 600 out the door. But those drivers, we had them lined up and we just delivered them out to their car, and that worked really slick last year too. So we just pulled in the parking lot. So just, if you'd like to help, we usually like people, I don't care if kids come because I think that's a good thing, but we'll probably require them to wear masks to come help us just to be safe with the food. And it took about 50 volunteers. Part of that's packaging the cold, part of it's getting the food out the door, and the other part is just getting organized when those meal drivers start driving up to get the meals to the car.
For sure.
I've been really lucky that there's been some kids groups that have helped in the past, and I don't know how that'll work this year, but we've had the Scottsbluff, boys basketball team help before, and they did such a great job. And just kids, I really like to see them get involved in that kind of thing because I think it's good to learn how to volunteer. Mm-hmm. That not everything comes with a cash thing, that sometimes it's from the heart, and and when they come back the next year, that's pretty cool that they come back. And I didn't scare them off.
Yeah.
And if they're naughty, they get to do dishes. No.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned that this is a project that's been a passion for you for a long time.
Yeah. I guess I should say I'm honored that Kevin, felt comfortable enough to kind of hand the reins over to me when he retired. He still helped last year. He helped me package it up because it was kind of a difficult year, and
right.
He was going to be around, so him and his family all signed up, and I don't want to be the one that would say, "Oh, Thanksgiving went, Kendra lost Thanksgiving Valley," but it's so wonderful to see the volunteers every year, and I always laugh about it because it's such a good feeling that day, and even the day before, all that feel good kumbaya, and then you have Black Friday, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's over." But we have volunteers that have worked for a long time. I just lost one of my people that cut pies for years. I mean, she didn't pass or anything, but she's just not able to do it anymore. But she's ordering a meal, and she would get those pies cut. I mean, and they were perfect too. There was no sloppy pie cutting. She held the reins there. The people I've got to meet have become good friends, and they're helping. The soup kitchen's helping again this year.
Awesome.
I just know that, and their board's smaller too. A lot of these boards for these volunteer groups have gotten smaller. With COVID, people just aren't signing up as much as they have.
For sure.
So if you can only come help for an hour and a half, we'd love to have you come, and you can take a meal home with you if you don't want to cook, and it's a good meal. So come and see us, or give me a call. If you want to volunteer, at 633-9497. Or call Shanna if you want to be a driver or need a meal. Shanna at the Volunteer Center at 632-3736.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. What are you most looking forward to with this year?
That the weather's decent now. that's a challenge.
That's the hope.
If the weather isn't bad. But the people that I get to see at that time of the year, I look forward to it. Maybe I don't get to see them as much throughout the year, and like I said, with the COVID restrictions and stuff, I don't see some of the people I get to see as much. So I look forward to that day. I look forward when we get them all delivered, and it's just a good feeling. Nobody gets really bossy or anything, which is good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a good feel-good day.
For
you
sure.
need one of those.
For sure.
Everybody needs one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what time did you say that you guys will be starting that morning with volunteering and everything?
Probably at least 8, because we have to cut up the pies and stuff. But we may cut some of those up the day before. So some of that volunteer work happens the day before to get stuff kind of in motion, especially since it's changed a little bit.
Right.
So if they just call me, even if they want to work a couple hours, like I said, we'll probably be done by 1:30 or 2.
Okay.
So you can work the whole time, or you can just work part of that. And I've already had some families sign up, and I'm happy because some of them have went to school with my kids, so I thought it was cool that they wanted to do that too.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yep.
And is there a cutoff date for when to order a meal to be delivered?
We probably like it the Friday before.
The Friday before?
Thanksgiving,
Okay.
just because, and I don't have a calendar in front of me, but that gives us time to route the routes.
Okay.
Because that's time consuming too for Shanna, that she steps up and does that.
For sure. Okay.
So if we could get up that Friday before, and we know a few drizzle in, but if the majority before that, and I hate to cap it off at 600, but that's just about all we can get done in that amount of time to get out before we start having them come out the door.
For sure. Anything else that you'd like to add about Thanksgiving in the Valley? The history, I don't know, anything else that we haven't
No,
talked about?
I guess I'm just happy that a tradition like this has lasted as long. This will be, I believe, the 38th year. So that it went as long as it did, and we fed thousands of people. And it's just, you know, like I said, if you don't have a feel good in your life, this is something that's good. I mean, I get to see my family in the afternoon, but a lot of times they come and help too. But it's just a time out for me to reflect on things and be thankful for the things that I have, or, you know, thankful for the people I've got to meet along the way. And also to take time to remember those that aren't with us anymore. So I look forward to it, and I like talking to the news people and stuff about it. A lot of times it's the young ones that moved here and they don't have a meal, so I give them a meal when they come and interview me, and they're so happy that day because there's not a lot of places open for Thanksgiving.
Right, exactly.
We've even had a basketball team come when there was a tournament up at the college.
Oh, wow.
There was no place really to eat Thanksgiving meals, so they all came and ate with us, and
That's
the
awesome.
little kids thought it was like having the Lakers there. They thought it was awesome. So
That's so
they wouldn't
cute.
quit staring. They kept saying, "Do you want some pie? Do you want some more pie?"
That's so cute.
Yeah, so it's a good feel good thing, and the volunteers, and plus the businesses that step up, like Aloe buys the turkeys, Highland Dairy has been helped with the milk for years, the pies, like I said, from Northfield Retirement Communities. We couldn't do it without all that. And then I get some, you know, donations for cash to help pay for the other expenses, and those people I don't really have to go ask. They just are so generous, and our community is. I mean, I just finished a Save a Rack event, and even in tough times, this community steps up.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
people should be proud to live here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming in and talking with us about Thanksgiving in the Valley. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Once again, this was Kendra Feather, and I'm Olivia Weisler with the Star-Herald. Feel free to pick up our print edition or to check us out online for more community coverage. Thanks for watching.